Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his holy name. He has caused us to triumph over the enemy. He's done exploits. He's done great things. And I'm asking the Lord for divine protection over your finance, property, um, children, your mind, all these things that we value and we want to make sure that God is keeping us in the midst of everything. It's one thing to have insurance, car insurance, medical insurance, and so on and so forth, no doubt. But the Bible says something interesting. Except the Lord build the city, they labor in vain to build it. Except the Lord keep the city, watch the city. The watchman watcheth but in vain. That's why I'm praying right now that God will bless you indeed and do exploits in your life. I was riding home last night, and I, I came upon, I was listening to the news, all right? And, if you're a Detroit Lions fan, if you know the Lions, I'm into playoffs and whatnot, and sports. I'm not really into sports like I used to be, but sometimes I check it out, so it's funny to me. I mean, different, But I was riding home last night, and it said that the Lions, they fired or let go of their offensive coordinator, the John Morton, I think his name is. And so I got to laughing because I said, they don't make that man the scapegoat. And if you know anything about a scapegoat is someone who they just put the blame on. I mean, for instance, it was a certain member of our family. Grandmother had 8 kids, I do believe. And I do believe when something went wrong, they would look for that one particular man, one particular child. He must have did it. Oh, the only thing about growing up as the only child, if something goes down, of course, is you. But if you grew up with a whole bunch of siblings, I got 3 daughters that stay at home, and when something goes wrong, pretty much everyone is trying to say, I didn't do it, it was her, it was her, it was her, or they just put it all on one person. The scapegoat. Scapegoat hasn't done anything wrong, but whenever something goes wrong, they want to put it on that one person. So I thought about that as I'm driving home, and they said the Lions, coach got fired, and I thought about where the scapegoat actually came from. It actually came from the Bible in the Leviticus chapter 16, I believe. And what would happen is they would sacrifice. They did animal sacrifices in the Old Testament for offering for sins and whatnot, atonement. And what happened was they would take a goat. The priest would take a goat, and they would put their hands on that goat, right? And they would say, well, the sins of the people, of all the people, is on this goat. And they would take the goat in the wilderness to never return again to the camp, because it represented sin leaving the camp, and all the sins of the people was on that goat, and the goat had to go on to the wilderness. Now watch this now. The goat hasn't done nothing wrong. The goat didn't commit adultery. The goat didn't fornicate. The goat didn't steal or covet or the goat didn't lie on nobody, but the goat would have to suffer for the sins of the people. They would put all the sins on that goat and send the goat out into the wilderness, and they called it the scapegoat. Even though the goat hasn't done anything wrong. Yet, all the sins of the people were upon that goat. My God, in here. Well, that was symbolic, because Jesus Christ is our scapegoat. All the sins of the world was put on Jesus at Calvary. the sins of all the peoples. Your past, present, and future sins were put on Jesus Christ. And as he bled, as he was whipped, as he was beaten, he became our scapegoat. I know there's been a debate, and it's not really a debate, just something really to make money, I guess. Well, who's the GOAT of this sport? Well, Jesus Christ is the GOAT of your salvation in Jesus' name.